It is Thursday afternoon, and All Soccer Meats provides you an opportunity to visit with Spencer Wirt, the Meat Dude. We find him in New Salem, North Dakota. And as we've been talking, that if you're not a lineman or woman, you're not law enforcement, you're not a plow operator, you're not a mail carrier, you're probably not working as hard as you would be any other week. We'll find out. Spencer, have you been working just as hard this week as every other week when you're cutting meat?
Well, I mean, my workload is normal, yes, but obviously those guys out battling the power lines is a different ball game than what I'm dealing with.
How was it out there? You seem like you were in the area where you got a lot of the brunt. Did you go without power for a while? Do you still have power? Explain that.
No, we never. I don't think we got the wind that east of the river got. We got a lot of ice. I mean, roads were shut down on Tuesday. Our parking lot, even right now, any parking lot in the city of New Salem is an ice skating rink. So yeah, we definitely got it, but we didn't lose the power that the areas that you're talking about did. So we're lucked out there.
It's one of those. I get why people are wanting to have this rush and saying, well, I could help, but not in this, not with power. And that's why I wanted to relay that from our electric cooperatives out there. Did you have a nice Christmas break, at least, aside from the ice?
I did.
Good.
Yeah, I did. We got home on Christmas Day just in time before it started raining, so I didn't have to deal with any bad roads. Yeah, it was a good Christmas.
Very good. I have a question related to Christmas because we have leftovers, as I'm sure many people do as well. One spot that we had the pork. Another one had chicken. Which one do we need to make sure we get done out of that fridge first?
Chicken.
Chicken.
Definitely
okay.
Chicken. Eat that first. Pork will last a little longer.
Okay, so give me the amount of days. Let's say on Monday we had these chicken breasts stuffed with some things, and it is now Thursday, and we have some leftovers still. What's the last day before I say, hey, look, this has got to get thrown out?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. I guess you just made my dinner plans tonight. Thanks, man.
It's easy. It's easy when it works out that way, right?
Yeah, you just warm it up, blast it with heat. It'll be just as good as it was on Monday. Very good. I got questions that were sent in for you like 3 hours ago. I'm going to get to those. Tyler, question for the Meat Dude. What's the difference between a T-bone and a porterhouse steak? They look and taste the same.
So the biggest difference is the side of the tenderloin opposite the loin-eye. So both T-bones and porterhouses are cut out of the primal short loin, and that primal consists of the loin-eye, the longissimus dorsi, the tenderloin, the psoas major, and then cut with the bone left in. That bone is called the transverse process, and then obviously the vertebrae up on top. Those bones make the T, otherwise known as the T-bone. The further back you move on that short loin towards the leg, that tenderloin keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the 2 square inches is kind of our rule of thumb when labeling. That turns it into a porterhouse compared to a T-bone. So that muscle, that loin-eye, is going to be same eating experience across the board, whether you're eating a porterhouse or a T-bone. There's going to be a little bit of tenderness difference between a T-bone that was cut right off the rib compared to a porterhouse, which is the opposite end of the loin. We're getting an anatomy lesson today here, folks. But at the end of the day, they're the same muscle, relatively same location. So eating experience is going to be pretty similar. But on the porterhouse, you're going to have that super tenderloin on the other side of the bone. And yeah, they're usually a lot bigger steak because you have all that extra meat hanging on the other side of the bone. But yeah, that's the difference.
Well, that person had a follow-up, but I think you just addressed it about the T-bone having 2 sides, smaller, more tender side, larger, more chewy side. Why is that? And is there a way to get the larger side more tender? So I guess there is a bit of a change there. So the larger side that's more chewy in their opinion, is there a way to get it more tender?
Yeah, it's for sure going to be less tender than the tenderloin. I mean, the tenderloin's the most tender cut of meat out of the whole carcass.
It says it right in the name,
and
even for you.
it says it in the name, and that's kind of when let's say you buy a half a beef, right, or a quarter of beef. Most butcher shops are going to give you the option to either keep the bone in for T-bones and porterhouses, or bone it out for New York strips and tenderloins. I prefer the boneless version, New York strips and tenderloins, because of that question that he just asked, right? Those two muscles are totally different, and in my opinion should be cooked differently in order to help the strip steak become more tender and not dry out the tenderloin, because the tenderloin is tender but can dry out really fast. When they're connected by a bone, it's kind of difficult to cook both sides of the bone to perfection. So that I don't really have an answer on how to get a strip steak to be as tender as a tenderloin. That's kind of just what it is.
Okay. Well, you tried. We can give you that A for effort.
You could buy a porterhouse, cut the tenderloin off, cook that separately, and then you just got a T-bone.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Hey, I think he just gave you like 3 options there, pal. 352.
I gave you some options.
35270. I was just gifted some dried beef from the deli. What do you recommend I do? I mean, we just making basic sandwiches with this thing, or get wild and weird with it?
No, just sandwich. I would just eat it out of the package or put it on a piece of bread.
I know. I did just that. It was actually pretty good. I just was wondering if you had anything to spice it up for me, church it up a little. Nothing?
Not really, sorry.
Okay, well, that's all right.
I'm not very creative, unfortunately.
I just give him his steak with salt, pepper, garlic, and throw a potato in the oven, and that's all a guy needs.
I'm simple.
You're a simple man. That's why we like
let beef be the show. That's all you got to do.
Write that one down. Let beef be the show. That's quote by Spencer Wirt, the Meat Dude. Spence, one of the things that we always get questions about is smokers. Is there a specific meat that you say, look, there's no need to have this on the smoker? Just go and, do the reverse sear, whatever it is. Or, hey, any and all, get them smoked up.
I don't think there's anything that, smoking is you're just adding another level of flavor to the meat, right? Like a steak. I enjoy steaks off of a propane gas grill almost just as much as if they were cooked on, like a pellet smoker, or even my Big Green Egg, right? There's the smoking just adds another level, but steak is something that comes to mind that I don't think you have to throw it on a smoker. I think a steak is good enough on its own to either cook in a cast iron or propane grill or whatever you have in your arsenal. I think steak's kind of where it's at. Same thing with pork chops. I mean, pork chops on just a normal heat source can turn out really good, but you throw them in your smoker or whatever else, pellet smoker or Big Green Egg or charcoal grill or whatever, it adds another level of flavor to the meal.
Very good. Somebody's saying dried beef is amazing on a piece of toasted butter. That's, in fact, what I did for lunch today. So I was right on the right track as far as what's going to make that thing even just a little bit more delectable. Spencer, is there anything I missed this week? This is that weird week for a lot of people, as far as a lot of people are at work, but not really mentally at work, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm going to let you get back after you say that your whole lineup is still there, so I don't want to take too much of your time, but if there's anything you want to say before I let you go, now's your opportunity.
Yeah, no, I think the next time we'll talk will be a new year, right? So Happy New Year to everybody. That's all I got.
Well, Happy New Year to you as well, and we'll kick off the next year together on Thursday as we have more questions answered from you, all right? Until then, you take care. We'll talk again then.
All right, bye.
All right. Spencer Wirt, the Meat Dude, every week. This conversation brought to you by All Sauger Meats. They got some news coming out. In fact, you'll be able to see them a little bit more frequently, if you will, in the metro area. I'll be able to tell you about that a little bit more in time. But in the meantime, you can find them on Main Drag in Audubon, Minnesota, if you're on Highway 10. Heading out to the lakes, ice, I guess, however you want to dub it. If you're going there, or if you just want to get out on a Sunday that's the place where you're going to want to stop on in.